But then we go on to the co-main event. Rafael dos Anjos pretty much took Bryan Barberena down. Just worked him down into a submission. Second round, strike with him enough to get the fight to the ground. More of the same thing. Finished him. Bryan looked like he was very upset with himself because this would have been 4 in a row. Some good, solid wins. But this Rafael dos Anjos, we have not seen in a long time.
It's not a good look to be taken down repeatedly by a lightweight. I hate to say this, man, because even when RDA, his other fights in the welterweight division, he was out-grappled by bigger, stronger wrestlers. So if you got out-grappled by RDA, and he's been out-grappled by these bigger, stronger wrestlers, imagine Bryan versus Sean Brady or somebody, man. He'd get destroyed.
But you know what's tricky is Rafael had moments in all those fights. It just came back down to the other person was bigger and stronger and happened to be a grappler. But he took some of them down. Well, he had them in some dangerous positions as well. It comes a point in time, especially in those 5-round fights, size matters. But Bryan, he didn't really get much of a fight out of this. Bryan is one of those fighters to where if the fight is standing up or if it's a mixed fight, striking and grappling, going back and forth, he has a lot of heart. And so you can get the best out of him down the stretch. A lot of his fights, he started really turning it on as the fight progressed because he was not winning in the beginning. But also, he wasn't really worried about grappling in the beginning with Matt Bryan and Robbie. But hey,
somebody said before this fight, why did RDA get cleared to take this fight? Because he got knocked out in his last fight. Shouldn't you take like 6 to 8 months off?
I don't know, man. Rafael dos Anjos give different rules. 5-round fights when you in a co-main event.
Yeah,
I don't understand. But then, man, we get down to Matheus Nicolau, Matt Schnell. Hold on, by the way, as far as our predictions, we were wrong about Kevin Holland. If you're not gonna go to the ground with somebody, tell people that because people are making bets. Well, that changes my prediction if I know that you are literally not gonna do anything on the ground and you're gonna keep that fight standing up. Because we thought that he was gonna hurt him and then finish him with a submission. That's what
I said, yeah, choke.
So if you take that out of the equation, I may not pick you. But obviously, that happened. So then we were right about the Rafael dos Anjos, Bryan Barberena. Once we saw the takedown defense of Barberena, we make our way down to Matheus Nicolau and Matt Schnell. Correct about that one. Matt Schnell, he just takes too much damage. And even though he looked like he was prepared and he was in shape, it just looked like whatever training he's getting is just not good enough. Does that make sense?
He lacks defensive awareness.
He lacks a lot, though. But the tools are there, but I'm saying the training is not there.
And you know what's funny, bro? Like, he got dropped in the first round with a left hook, and then he got dropped in the second round with the right hand. He was looking out for the left hook. So I think he's overthinking in there, man. Like, you know.
But his ability to take damage now is going to start catching up because it's the striking defense that's bad. But that means that the striking is bad. That means the striking coach you need to get another striking coach. Or you need to go somewhere else because he was walking Matheus down like he was going to do something, and when every time he closed the distance, he was getting tagged. And it's like, we keep saying the same thing. Again, before we jump into saying somebody got a bad chin, I always look at the striking defense first. And Matt was just walking him down like he was hunting him down, like he was going to do something. All the punches were telegraphed. You're not leading with a jab. You're going in with hooks. It was just sloppy, man. You can't do that against a top 10 fighter like this.
But you said striking coach, but sometimes a lot of fighters don't really take the advice from the coaches, man.
Yeah, why are they paying the striking coach?
I have no idea. You got to ask them because it doesn't make sense. Like, sometimes the coach say, don't do this, and then they go out there, and when it's time to fight, when them bright lights come on, it's different. We hear stories from certain fighters when they're training, they're going toe-to-toe with Usman, they're going toe-to-toe with Francis, and then they step in there. How many times have you heard about fighters, they sparring with John Jones, the greatest of all time, and they step in there, bro, and they go 0-5 and out the gun.
The difference is Matt Schnell ain't going toe-to-toe with none of those guys.
Yeah.
And with Matt Schnell being from Louisiana, he might be the best fighter in his gym just because he made it to the UFC. I'm sorry.
He might be the best guy who's currently Dustin, other than Dustin.
Other than Dustin.
He might be the best guy in Louisiana now.
Currently active.
Yeah, currently active fighter.
Louisiana fighters. So then we go down, well, and shouts out to Nicolau, great fight. He made it clean, he made it easy. He didn't take too much damage. One thing I will say, he killed it in the post-fight interview. When he was talking about his ranking and he was talking about a title fight, and then Daniel asked him, what's next? Is there anybody you want to call out? And he said, well, currently I'm unemployed. That was the last fight on my contract. So if the UFC is impressed with what they just saw, which I'm sure they are, then we'll see what's next. And it was I like how these guys are starting to do that. Michael Chandler really took off with it. Well, Conor McGregor. Yeah. But then Michael Chandler, then Moicano, and now Nicolau. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, but sometimes you got to be more aggressive and straightforward too, man.
No.
You got to call people out.
No, he did, but his main thing is getting that contract first right now. But he said he want a title fight or he want to fight for a #1 contender. Like, he may have called out a specific person, but that was just the point that stood out to me, was they starting to own the mic. Because if you don't do it, your win streak don't mean nothing. Michael Bisping and Daniel Cormier are former champions. They know what they're doing when they ask you this. Even Paul Felder had opportunities where he could have possibly fought for the title if 1 or 2 wins away. And then when they get these guys on the microphone, they ask, what do you want? What's next? And you say, oh, well, whatever the UFC want to do. I'm just here to fight. I'm cool. And now all of a sudden you on a win streak and you complaining about fighter pay. Hey, you can't get mad. But then